We are here and we are so excited to reveal Mel Kiper's latest mock draft. Mel put a new one out yesterday and we are so excited to share it with you this morning, including some of the highlights being 2 quarterbacks selected in the first round. Fernando Mendoza goes first, but what's not on the board here, Mel's got Alabama's Ty Simpson going 21st to the Steelers. He's also got Notre Dame star running back Jeremiah Love going 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs. The last time Kansas City picked in the top 10 was 2017. That year, they traded up for a player named Patrick Mahomes. We welcome in the great Mel Kiper Jr. Mel, you watch all the tape. You talk to everybody in the league. Mendoza still number 1 on your list, but I want to take it somewhere differently. Who does Fernando Mendoza remind you of when you go through the archives in all of your years watching the game?
Peter, I'm not the comp king, Matt Miller is, but I'll give you a couple. Matt Ryan, okay? How about Matt Ryan coming to the Atlanta Falcons out of Boston College? Same year Joe Flacco came out of Delaware to the Baltimore Ravens. But Matt Ryan, certainly. I think Peyton Manning, you see a little Peyton in Fernando Mendoza. He's so poised. He's so smart. He was going to go to Yale. He's so accurate to all levels. Late in plays, he makes great decisions. Run, throw it away. Find that 4th, 5th option. Coming through in the clutch when it doesn't go his way. The toughness. How about that hit against Ohio State to come back from that? Dealt with adversity at Cal. Was sacked 41 times. Improved on that at Indiana. I don't know how anybody can not like Fernando Mendoza. And for Raider Nation, be thrilled you got the number 1 pick and there's a quarterback like Mendoza in this draft.
He really did show it in the biggest of moments. And yet, Neek, you hear that name Peyton Manning thrown around, and I have to imagine you take a double take when you hear that.
Yeah, I just want to know what specifically he sees. Is it about the leadership? Is it about the personality? Is it about the arm strength? Like, Peyton Manning kind of revolutionized the position in some ways in running the game from the line of scrimmage. So if you're looking at a guy, I wouldn't say it's a gulf between Manning and Matt Ryan, but they're different types of players to me. So what about Mendoza makes you see a little bit of Peyton?
Well, keep in mind, Neek, when Peyton Manning came out, there were guys in the league that were telling me if his name was Peyton Jones, it'd be a 3rd-round pick. He throws wobbly balls, no arm strength. He's overrated. His name's Matt. If his name, like I say, was Peyton Jones, we'd have him in the 3rd round. So everybody loved him now. Remember, at that point in time, half the league liked Ryan Leaf better because he had better traits, okay? Yeah. Big, strong arm guy. Carried Washington State to the Rose Bowl, all that. So everybody just revisionist history on Peyton Manning coming out. Mendoza is an underrated athlete. What did Manning do? Manning could have at times beat you with his legs when he was young. You think about the arm. Mendoza doesn't have a rocket. Peyton Manning certainly didn't. Mendoza throws a better ball than Peyton Manning. He's incredibly smart. He's incredibly instinctive. He's the first one in the building. He wants to crack the code. He's got a lot of that, those traits of Peyton Manning. Matt Ryan, wasn't going to wow people over. Remember, that was the draft where Bill Parcells passed on Matt Ryan to take Jake Long and took Chad Henne in the 2nd round, right? So all this revisionist history from quarterbacks, we go back to the real time when they were picked. There was a lot of skepticism about some of these guys that turned out to be great.
Mel, I think that's a great way to put this because, yes, it was Ryan Leaf for Peyton Manning, and Manning goes and visits the Colts, and he tells Bill Polian it'll be the greatest mistake you ever made if you pass on me. They take him. Ryan Leaf goes 2 to the Chargers. There is no Ryan Leaf in this conversation this year. There's a great canyon between Mendoza and the 2nd prospect based on what everyone's saying. But you do have Ty Simpson mocked to the Steelers at 21. Give us a little Ty Simpson talk and why he is the clear-cut number 2, but not even in the same conversation as Mendoza.
Peter, when we were talking in mid-October, even in the mid-November, there were those that thought that Ty Simpson was the top 5 pick and would challenge Mendoza to be QB1. Then he had 5 straight games with a fumble lost, right? He had some struggles. He obviously had a fumble against Indiana when he was hit by D'Angelo Pons. Cracked rib, couldn't go to the Senior Bowl, which he wanted to. Now he's going to be at the Combine. So Ty Simpson will let it rip. Okay, he made some clutch throws in a lot of games. He had a bad offensive line. He had receivers. Ryan Williams didn't play up to the level expected. He had no running game at all, yet he was out there battling. Now, sometimes he's too competitive. He won't let a play die. He's got to improve on that. But if you're Pittsburgh at 21, you can't worry about next year's draft. You're not going to be picking 1, 2, or 3 to get those elite quarterbacks, right? So McCarthy comes in, he gets Ty Simpson at 21, and now you move forward with a guy who, like I said, has a good skill set. I wish he had more starts in 15, but he did play in a lot of games, but only 15 starts is a bit of a red flag, but I still think he goes at this point in the 1st round.
Still not in the top 20, J-Mac.
Yeah, exactly, and I look at this, and I think for the Pittsburgh fit, you look at Kenny Pickett was there a few years ago, and they drafted him 20th, and that didn't per se work out the way that they intended it to. So now you're going back, and he's talking about Simpson, and he's saying with only the 15 starts. What I do like what Mel is saying is that a lot of people keep talking about next year's draft. For the people there, you can't guarantee that you're going to be there next year to pass on players that you think and feel can help you now, or players that you can develop that are going to be starters for you in the future. So for the Steelers, for McCarthy, if you're looking at Ty Simpson, you say, you know what, I like the traits that this guy showed us in his 15 starts. I love the way he competes. I think he can come in here and earn a starting spot and really develop in our organization. Then you pull the trigger. But Mel, I would even ask you, as Ty Simpson, everybody's going over and they're looking at him, how do you see all these other quarterback-needy teams passing on him for him to get to 21?
Yeah, the Jets would be the team, Jason. I think they have to consider him, but they have needs other places, obviously. I'll go back to Ty Simpson and say, well, who does he compare to? Say Mac Jones. Mac Jones had 17 starts coming out of Alabama, right? Mac Jones, you look at him now, you say, hey, pretty good, right? He had a really good rookie year with Josh McDaniels. They changed things, didn't go well. Now with the 49ers, everybody wants him, right? Well, guess what? I think Ty Simpson's a faster, more athletic Mac Jones. I'd like to see a little up his weight. We'll see at the combine. Is he around 215? Mac Jones was 217. They're both in that. Mac Jones was 6'2.5", Ty's 6'2". So that weight, if it's up to 215, will be a good thing for Ty Simpson to relieve some of those doubts about him only being at 200, 205, 208.
Yeah, and I look at the Steelers in particular here, Mel. We don't know if we're going to get back Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what they think of Howard necessarily. They did pass on Jackson Dart and Tyler Shuck, though, with the 21st pick last year and took a defensive tackle instead.
Yes, and they could here too, and that could put them in the Sean McVay, L.A. Rams area in the late first round as the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford. I think the Rams would probably like to see that happen. When he gets into the second round, who knows? It can happen there. Tyler Shuck went in the second round to Shador, and Shador dropped to the fifth round. You never know what's going to happen, but I do think at 21, if you're the Steelers, and the Kenny Pickett, Ty Simpson, to me, is better than Kenny Pickett. And I think if you looked at him, like I said, in mid-November, all the way to mid-November, guys, he was 22 touchdowns and only 2 picks. And he made a lot of clutch throws behind, like, say, a bad offensive line and no running game, okay? That's a lot to deal with from a negative standpoint to still play at a pretty high level.
All right, for the viewers at home, Fernando Mendoza will not be competing in any of the combine drills, but as of now, which is Tuesday morning, Ty Simpson will. We will. And he told Tim McManus from ESPN that there is interest between A.J. Brown and the team to continue the career of Philly for A.J. Brown, but neither he nor general manager Howie Roseman committed to suiting up Brown for the team next season. Look at this. Speaking of the combine, this is what he had. Yeah, my expectation is he wants to be here, right? And obviously you want good players like that in your building. Will AJ be here next season? I think we're still in a spot. Like, I can't guarantee how anything is going to go play out next season. I'm thinking I'm going to be the coach next season, but you can't guarantee anything past tomorrow. Sometimes it's the things you don't say that are most intriguing. We've got Jason McCourty here, Dominique Foxworth on the screen. Nick, we're going to start with you. That reaction from Sirianni, he could have taken it a lot of ways. Yeah. What was your take from that quote that we got yesterday at the Combine?
Right, it feels like there's definitely something there. Like, we've been dissecting this team for the past 2 years, and one thing that's always been constant, even when they've had success, is that A.J. Brown has had an interesting relationship with this team. And it's not because they don't want to get him the ball and they don't want to target him. Like, he got targeted plenty of times last year and the year before that when they won the Super Bowl. But the numbers weren't there, and it always seemed like a little bit of discomfort in that relationship. So I think when you know that you're going to have a guy, no one's even asking the question. And when the question's asked, you roll your eyes and say, obviously, he's going to be back. The fact that the response was what the response that we got makes me believe that it's probably getting close to the end. If they can find a suitable place to send A.J. Brown, it seems like they probably would be open to making that move.
All right, let me just set the stage here. So basically at the Combine, you've got every coach, you've got every GM, they're walking around. And in this case, all the Philly reporters got Nick Sirianni. He's speaking right there. It wasn't a polished podium situation. Yeah. But he could have taken this a lot of different ways when they brought up A.J. Brown. Your reaction, Jason?
The one thing Neek said, A.J. Brown is under contract for this upcoming season. So Sirianni could have simply just said, hey, A.J. Brown's under contract. I expect for him to be a Philadelphia Eagle. You don't know what the future is going to hold. But he didn't say that. I will also add that he said, We want A.J. I like A.J. Brown. I want him here. I believe A.J. Brown wants to be here. He said those words. So I don't want to look at this and dismiss the fact that there is still a lot of love between A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. But when you go on to talk about the future of the team, you say, I expect to be the head coach. Sirianni's going to be the head coach this season. There's an opportunity for teams to look at this and say, you know what? Let's make our best offer to get A.J. Brown in our building, because to me, that just signaled, hey, we're open for business if the right offer comes across.
I'm going to double back with you. 17 different people interviewed for that offensive coordinator job.
Yeah.
7 of them had second interviews, and they chose Sean Mannion, a 32-year-old who has never called a play. Would you at least give that a shot before you start talking about putting A.J. Brown on the block?
I would. That would be my thought process. You look at this Eagles team, they're loaded. They still have a ton of talent on the offensive side of the ball, from Saquon Barkley to Devontae Smith. Having A.J. Brown there is still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, only helps them move forward as an offense. And I think, to your point, the new beginnings. Let him develop a relationship with Sean Mannion and see where they can take this offense.
Neek, let's open it up a little bit. Let's say, for example, and we don't have proof of this yet, that they were to put A.J. Brown on the block. Yeah. Which team do you think would be most hungry and most thirsty to get him into the building?
Yeah, it's all of them, but I think the obvious names that come up is teams that are close and could use a weapon right away, and that's immediately the Bills, and I think the Patriots come up too. A team that needs a true number one, that already has a quarterback in place that can get him the ball, that's looking to get over the hump. So A.J. Brown would be perfect for any of those teams that feel like they're right on the doorstep but need a little punch offensively to get it done.
What about you?
Absolutely. And I'll go on the other conference, and I'll look at a team like Green Bay, a team like the 49ers, teams that they have weapons, they have guys out there. But if you place a guy like A.J. Brown on one side of the field, it dictates defenses. And now they have to figure out, are we doubling him? Are we putting a guy over the top? Those type of situations help a quarterback and allows him to really go out there and flourish.
All right, for some context at home, at the Combine, most coaches and GMs speak at the podium in a more formal environment. That will happen today for both Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni, so don't worry. We will get plenty more on this. But A.J. Brown's name, it wasn't a quick out-of-hand dismissal by Nick Sirianni. He did have some things to say, and that does open the door for conversation.